I have a feeling this is going to be like it's going to be the intro to this book of podcasts we're writing. It's Drew 1, Direction 1.
Okay.
Drew 2, Drew 1, Direction 2.
Love that.
Welcome to Directors. Drew, Mr. Denham. You know, I say your name and it sounds like it's so refreshing. It's like, so like, I feel today, for example, I don't wear blue jeans.
All right, you put on jeans for me. I appreciate that.
So I was like, you know, I'm wearing jeans and you're wearing jeans. I'm blue jeans. I'm like, Drew Denham. Drew brought in the denim jeans. It's just like, the name sounds very eloquent. It's very elegant. It's very, it's just clean, and it has a lot of power behind it.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be on your podcast. I'm so excited. I love doing this, so I'm happy to come on, you know, as many times as you invite me. So
no, man, we're gonna be. I have a feeling this is gonna be just one of the many to come. So, and please pardon my voice. Sound a little stuffy. I'm fresh off the deathbed.
Okay.
Resurrection.
I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better, though.
Thank you, sir.
We made it work.
No, man, I'm glad to have you here. But Drew, so I mean, just a little bit about you. I know that I personally know that you're a prolific investor. Your energy it's contagious. Being the reason why, like, you know, up on our first meeting, here you are. You are an associate broker with EXP. You are just super invested in Airbnb, and you share so much content and information regarding smart investing moves for anyone beginning or anyone who's been in the game, and current trends and just shifts in that industry. And you're also a man of God.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
You're like the perfect person to be sitting in that chair as a director.
I love it. No, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I'm so blessed to be where I'm at. And God is wonderful. God is great, and it's been an amazing journey. And I'm so thankful for everything, every challenge, every obstacle that has come my way. And hopefully, we'll get into that a little bit more in depth in our session today. But I'm so grateful, I'm so thankful, and it's been an amazing journey so far, and I can't wait to share it to help as many people as we can.
Man, thank you. You already helped me. You've opened a lot of thoughts here and a lot of feelings here, and I'm looking forward to just sitting here, being the Scotty to your Jordan.
Call me Jordan. You're really buttering me up. I appreciate it. Thank
man.
you.
I'm just gonna be throwing you the passes. I'm gonna throw you the questions, and you can just dunk them away, man.
All right.
That's all I'm good for. Is to just ask the right questions, and I believe, you know, just you in that seat, you have the direction. You are a trusted source of information, a wealth of information that I believe a lot of individuals can take and put into motion in their profession, personal relationships, professional relationships, and also their fellowship and relationship with the one and true Father. So I just want to begin in the beginning. I know you're now originally from Grand Rapids.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So can you just share a little bit about your childhood and just how you got here?
No, I love it. And your interview prep questions were phenomenal. I know I saw a John Maxwell book out there on your desk. John Maxwell's book, one of his books. He has many books, but great leaders ask great questions. So thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for the wonderful questions that you had me prepare for. So childhood, I'm originally from the east side of the state, about 2.5 hours from Grand Rapids. I grew up in a loving family, have one of the best mothers that I could ever have for in the world. My siblings and I often talk. I have an older sister and a younger brother, 40, I'm 37, my brother's 27. But we often talk about how how our life would be so different if we didn't have the mom that we had, and that I have. Thank you. But you asked one of the questions, like, who's your hero growing up? And
Yes.
the first person I thought of was my mom. So, grew up in a loving family. My mom is my best friend. I love her so much. Family had issues though in certain areas. Alcoholism was big in my family, and saw my parents struggle financially quite a bit growing up. And I think that's where I got a lot of my drive and a lot of my ambition of who I am kind of today. Just seeing kind of my family struggle financially really put a fire in me, or spark in me, to kind of be the man I am today. So, went to high school there, went to Michigan State, got a bachelor's degree in finance, spent 5 years with Dow Chemical on the east side. I got my master's degree in Saginaw Valley, and was kind of ready to go a different direction, and threw my name in the hat at Amway. Didn't know what Amway was at the time. Interviewed. Didn't think I did that great in the interview, but they made me an offer the next day, and kind of the rest is history. So
that's awesome.
I often think about, or Tony Robbins always says that life is based on decisions. And my siblings and I talk about this a lot, about what's one decision in your life that completely changed the trajectory of your life. And I think about that decision to move to Grand Rapids, to take that Amway job. I didn't initially want it, even though it was a 25% raise. I didn't initially want it, and God told me to take it and move forward and move to Grand Rapids, because it was scary for me. It was unknown. I was a little bit of a different person back in 2014. And kind of the rest is history. So spent 5 years with Amway, and then in 2018 I became a full-time real estate agent. So.
Dang. And you, I'm sitting here watching you talk. And your delivery is so crispy. And then it took me back to, it reminded me of the fact that you are also a coach. Well, you spoke of Maxwell, you spoke of Tony Robbins, in just a brief introduction there. And that's, thank you so much for just the clarity and the details in your intro. So let's go back to 2014.
Okay.
You up and made this big move to Grand Rapids, and out of a whim, you questioned it, but yet now you are in Grand Rapids. You're doing great things. You're one of the top producers in your industry, in our industry, real estate, and you have the luxury, the flexibility of going anywhere in the Michigan and living out your life. Looking back to that, making that decision, is there anything that what was holding you back?
It's such a great question, and it's one of my favorite things to talk about, just because. So, had the master's degree, fresh master's degree, and Amway makes me this offer of a 25% raise. So, to give you kind of a little bit backstory, no one really in my family, extended family, really left that area.
Got it.
So me leaving Bay City, Saginaw, Midland area to come 2.5 hours would be west to Grand Rapids was a little bit out of the ordinary, because my whole immediate family was there. So to answer your question would be unknown. I was fearful. I didn't know anybody in Grand Rapids, and it was a bit of a scary thing, right? I was comfortable.
Yeah.
I had a nice house in Bay City, and I had a decent job at Dow Chemical, and it was the fear of the unknown. And one of my favorite things, one of my favorite stories to tell, was basically how God helped me make that decision.
Yeah.
So I received the offer from Amway, and I'm just initially I'm not ready, I'm not gonna take it. I'm gonna pass on it, even though it was kind of exactly what I needed and what I want, or what I'm glad that I took. Now looking back, hindsight's always 20/20, but I was struggling with the decision for a few days. And one of my favorite authors sends these Tuesday tips, he calls them. Every Tuesday we get a motivational type article from this author that I followed really my whole adult life.
It's not Tuesdays with Murray, is it?
Okay. No, this guy, not a ton of people know about him. His name is Dr. Alan Zimmerman.
Okay.
And basically, in that time frame, I literally get an email with the subject that says, take this job and love it. So that was really the pull that I needed to take this job, take it at Amway and move to Grand Rapids. So I followed that direction. So often God opens doors for us, and He expects us to walk through them.
100%.
So I received that message, I received that email. One of the most, I think, lack of a better term, but the most unique experiences of my life, I'm so grateful for that. So I took it, moved to Grand Rapids, put fear aside, and went there, and kind of the rest is history. And just the journey, that one decision led to so many other decisions, like being at Amway, being at 3 different roles, having a huge network at Amway, which Amway is 50% of my real estate business, 40 to 50% of my real estate business. I traveled the world. I went to India 6 times. I went to China. I went to Costa Rica. Like, amazing. Like, they have a basketball court. Like, I met so many great people there and had such a great experience. But it was all based on that one decision. One decision. So sometimes I think people get frustrated and they want this quick fix, right? Because we're in a society right now of everything is like very instant. We want everything instant gratification. Thank you. And you might realize that you might not be that far away from where you want to be. You could be one decision away of maybe asking someone out that could be the perfect partner for you. That you could be one person away from meeting someone at the coffee shop that could be the next career for you. You just never know. And just like getting after it, and I love that story because, again, people want that instant gratification, but you never know who's going to come into your life. Again, God opens doors for you, and He expects you to walk through them. We fired up right now. You got me asking me some questions.
Dang, bro, you're hitting them. Barry Bonds.
No, we switching to baseball, huh? We got off the tipping?
No, it's just like, I'm pitching, you're hitting. Just into the bay. No, I love it, man. I love the energy. Let's keep it going. Let's talk about hero. Your mom being your hero. And I'm asking this question. It's just stuck with me. So you say your mother is that hero for you. Mine is too. And mine is in disguise. She's at home. She's with God, and guiding me every day. So
I'm sorry for your loss.
Oh man, it's part of life. And we have to celebrate it. A life well lived, and we have to take away the lessons that were taught versus look at it as like, man, I look at it quite differently, and I celebrate my mother every single day because she made this possible. So she made this podcast, this show possible. So I'm thankful for that. And my personal goal is like, the same discernment, the path, the little things she taught me without ever really shining a light on, which is were mundane things, but I still have those qualities with me every single day. And that's from I guess we call those soft skills. You get those from your very childhood, how you're molded. And you continue to add and apply those in various facets of your life as an adult. So I know you have that too. Is there anything you can recall from, I guess, a discernistic approach, how your mom has helped you become the man you are today?
So many things, and I love that. It's beautiful how you explained everything with your mother. And like, when we're born and we grow up as teenagers, adults, like, we're conditioned by our external environment, whether that be parents, teachers, friends, siblings, whatever it is. So we're conditioned based on that. And your question about how my mother has impacted me as an adult and growing up, she's the type of person that will give the shirt off her back to help someone else, leading with love and leading with kindness. How she treated my dad. So my mom and my dad were separated for about 3 years before he just passed a couple months ago. Yeah. But how she treated my dad the last X amount of years of his life, just showing so much love when there's so many things that were done to her that were hurtful and different things like that. So showing love and showing kindness no matter what, right? So like Jesus, showing kindness
Yeah.
regardless, right? Praying for your enemies. I'm not saying my mom thought my dad were enemies, but praying for people that maybe mistreated you in a certain way, praying for them. So she showed that to everybody. She showed that to my siblings and I, of how to walk that journey. So much more, her kindness, her love, her generosity, always checking in on us as kids. I mean, we, meaning my siblings and I, would be totally different people if it wasn't for my mom.
That's beautiful.
So she has taught me what's right from wrong. She has taught me to be considerate, kind, loving, joyful, and there's also certain things that that I've pivoted away from my parents and kind of found my own way, so to speak, and my siblings have found their own way, so to speak, of kind of maneuvering through life, and that's beautiful, right? That's so great to see. So it's been a beautiful foundation that my mom and my dad have given us, but really leaning into my mom, and she's been kind of the hero for our family, to really give each of us, all three of us, the best foundation and the best, really her true best, path forward, to give us the best opportunity that we could leading into our adulthood. So it's been beautiful, man. And even with my dad, I wouldn't be the same. I wouldn't be the person I am today without my dad. And you mentioned about your mom too. You wouldn't be the same, without your mom. And Tony Robbins often speaks about that. He wouldn't be the man he was without his very, very troubled childhood of his mom that verbally beat him physically and mentally and that kind of thing. Look at the man that he has become because of that. So
amazing, man.
Yes. So whatever, I always like to tell people too, like, no matter your situation, no matter what you've been conditioned to believe as a kid or as an adult, you can always make a decision to go a different route.
That's beautiful.
Right?
You took away my closing question, bro.
We're closing up already? We're done.
No, took away my closing, that's my closer. I'm just joking. We have so much just to cover, and that's great advice. That's beautiful advice. And we talked about your father briefly on our first sit down at a coffee shop, and been praying for you, and I feel like it's true that you made 2 points that resonate with our union and the reason why we're here right now, sharing this conversation with anyone on this entire planet who wishes to dive in and immerse in this beautiful, I don't even know what to call this. It's a symphony. Call it a symphony.
There you go.
It's a directory symphony. But no, so you, on the beginning, going back to the one decision that has, opened up, it was the gate to a mansion. There's multiple doors after you walk through that gate. That's one decision. People often say that there is, the grass is not so green on the other side. Your grass has been tremendously green.
So it's funny, there's so many things I want to add to that in so many different ways. If I could just add one thing, I heard that saying before, the grass is never greener on the other side. And I've heard that applied to different companies, maybe I've gone to a different company, or even in relationships.
Relationship is the one cliche that they use. That is the one relationship or union that cliche is often really used it with.
Would you say in your experience that is true when you say the grass isn't always greener on the other side in regards to relationships?
Well, if it wasn't greener, then I'll probably be locked up in some dark hole right now.
Because in my experience, it hasn't been. It hasn't been. So I think it's probably a case-by-case situation.
So, but I think, would you agree though that it's based on our perception? And when that question is asked, is it in timing as well, would you say?
I think so, because we're either growing or dying, right? So
and that's what I meant.
Yes. So if you're out of a relationship, reflecting on that relationship is so necessary, because I see so many times like people are out, and I'm not judging anybody, teach their own, but people get out of a divorce or a relationship and they're already back in, they already have their foot in relationship 2.0 before 1.0 is even done.
Yes.
I'm saying put yourself on the sideline, reflect and learn, and say, how can I be a better version going into my next relationship if and when that comes?
I salute you.
Oh my gosh, but like I learned this in a book. Shout out to my friend Tyler, a book called Love, Sex, and Dating by Andy Stanley.
Yeah.
I read 3 years ago. And honestly, I think this book should be given to teenagers. I mean, to talk about so many different issues in the world today, with the divorce rate being 50%, 67%, 73% for first, second, and third marriages.
Dang.
The issue with, porn, 9 out of 10 men look at porn, 1 out of 3 women look at porn, and how destructive that is to a relationship. I could go on and on and on, but so I wanted to talk to you about the grass is greener than the other side, and I took the throne from you because I interrupted you.
You're in the director's seat.
Okay.
It's your throne. I am here to be your Scotty. You're here to be the Jordan, or Barry Bonds, not be the pitcher. That's it.
Okay.
Let's go.
I love it.
But no, man, you're 100% right. The grass can be greener on the other side based on the steps you take into that garden. Mm-hmm. It's a garden. You have to water it. You have to prepare the water. You have to have the jug for it. If you want that grass to be green, for me at least, relationally, I look back and I say the grass was greener, and I walked into where the grass was completely dead, hoping blindly. That's blind luck. Just wishing, hoping, and thinking that something might be on the other side, right? And I don't think I've ever really jumped into a relationship thinking that, it's definitely gonna be better on the other side. First of all, I'm 38 years old. So if I'm walking, I know my window is shrinking. I might not look like it, but
you look great, man.
I might not look like it, but mentally, emotionally, maturity, all these are different dichotomy departments that we have to seek into a partner. And then there's a spiritual component. Like for me, I'm like, man, I'm sitting in the church. I belong to a church. He's 20, she's 20, they're married, 25, they're married. It's everybody's married because I'm in the church. So the window is shrinking. So I'm sitting here the grass is not always greener on the other side. It just all depends on if you don't have a plan in place, right? If you don't have a plan in place and you're hoping, wishing and thinking that the grass will be greener on the other side, then go ahead and take that. You're open to do that, to make that move, whatever you want. But my advice is always you have to reconsider any relationship, any situation. What is happening here? How do I fit into this formula? What role do I play that's making this be what it is? Is there something I need to work on with myself to make this look differently? Is this something that we can do together to see this become a harmonious atmosphere, relationship, partnership moving forward before I extricate myself and jump into a completely new situation, right? So I want to just ask you, I want to exhaust this grass greener on the grass being green on the other side. In the same breath as a relationship, from the relationship concept of that discussion into your professional life.
So it's interesting, and let me back up a second, go back to relationships for a second. I think the grass can be greener on the other side if you realize that it wasn't.
Yes.
But you can pull the good out of it. You can pull to say, you know what, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
You know what, I can learn this from this. Next time I'll do this.
Yeah.
Right? So I just want to make sure that I think a perception, you can take good away on the other side of that grass is green on the other side, regardless of what happens. You can always pull an opportunity or pull good from that.
Yes.
But changing to the professional aspect of it, I remember one of my mentors at Dow said, the grass isn't greener on the other side when he knew I was leaving Midland to come to Grand Rapids. I'm just like, okay. I think that whole term is just so unique to a person's specific situation.
Thank you.
And being able to pull so many great opportunities or learning opportunities from that other side to say, next time I'm going to do this. Next time I'm going to try and stay in that relationship longer and really try to grit it out and try to make it work with this person versus throwing in the towel so early. Like going back to relationships again, you know, Tony Robbins just did an event earlier this year and he talked about relationships for about a day or so. And he said too many people throw in the towel too early. Too many people quit a relationship too early. And I think we're losing the grit, and we're losing the lack of a better term, but we're not doing as much as we can in relationships. I'm generalizing, but we're not doing as much as we can to try to make it work with the person that you're with. And again, that's a very unique situation, case by case. But Tony's overall message was people leave relationships too early.
Why would you say that's happening?
Because, I mean, there's so many things. Maybe lack of God in people's lives. Mm-hmm. We're in a swipe left, swipe right culture.
I was about to ask about that.
And then going back to love, sex, and dating, oh man, we're gonna kill it with this segment right here. But people, if someone, let's say someone has an alcohol problem or
yes.
a drug problem or a porn addiction, right? Uh-huh. And I'm dating, or the person's dating someone, and they're saying, this isn't good, like work on this, or like maybe this isn't gonna work out for us. That person's gonna say, I don't have any issues, and I'm gonna go to the next person, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying, put yourself on the sideline, fix your issues, fix your porn, your alcohol, your drug, whatever issues that you have, and then put yourself back in the dating pool, because you're gonna attract that type of person that you're looking for. Become the person you're looking for is looking for.
Damn.
Andy Stanley. I didn't make that up.
I know, but did I say damn or did I say dang?
Become the person you're looking for is looking for. So that means, so I think it's that. People saying, you're not the one because you don't accept the way I am, versus saying, I'm taking ownership and saying, I need to resolve this. If I want to have a great probability of an enriching relationship with someone, is it reasonable to say there's a good probability if I address this and work on this, progress not perfection, that there's probably a good probability that I'm going to meet someone and we're going to have a good relationship, a great relationship, an amazing relationship, if I take myself off the side or off the dating pool, go on the sidelines and address my issues. Is that reasonable to say?
Yeah, man,
we didn't even think to get into relationships on the questioning.
I didn't.
But I think the Holy Spirit's leading us there.
No, man.
I love it. I love talking about relationships, and I'm not coming off as an expert, so to speak, but like I'm really trying to learn as much as I can from the relationships that I've had.
No, I think it's funny that I didn't put that on there when our entire humanity, our entire existence is based on, I said to you earlier before we started this podcast, I said, he's a wolf. He's looking for his pack. That's like, we literally are, we are tribal creatures, right? Mm-hmm. And the one thing we don't spend a lot of time working on though is self, and how we can be within a certain tribe or within a certain group or a partnership. What do we bring to the table? Because there's a certain criteria there that it's a certain journey. Where do you get Germany from? There's a certain journey we're trying to travel here, and to travel this, we need a car, we need gasoline, we need a destination where we're going, and if we don't understand those first, that's our liking, and that's that person's interest, that's my interest, that's your interest, and then we're gonna do this together. Mm-hmm. We have so much in common that it makes no sense that we wouldn't do everything it takes to make sure that we go from point A to point B. Right. But we often forget to reevaluate ourselves. I believe we forget to reevaluate ourselves and see who we truly are, what our interests are, what our values are, and then us being nomadic creatures by definition, we try to be like the next person closest to us. People next door to me, I want to have what they have. People next door, we're in this small community, and that's what. So I feel like that idea just builds out with social media, having so much access to each other's lives. Now we forget about ourselves and start wanting to become this other individual that we're not. So getting back to that point, would you say, like, so growing up as a kid, would you say sports help kind of spark the idea of like teamwork and relational opportunities, knowing how to work with that and how to grow with that?
So I think maybe what you're asking is like, so you're assuming maybe I was like this as a child or had these viewpoints as a child? Is maybe...
You're a very interesting individual.
Well, I wasn't always like this. Like I was a great guy. Like growing up, I had really great intentions.
Yeah.
But I was an unhealthy achiever. So yeah. I would just continue to try to get every achievement, every degree, every accomplishment that I could. And it took my rock bottom, a breakdown 3 or 4 years ago for me to realize, okay, like what's important, what is the vision for my life, where am I going, what is God's will for my life, what is my legacy, what do I want people to say about me when I pass away? Like all these kind of really like deep life questions come up, right? Because I hit my bottom. And I realized, I'm like, I don't know what it's like to get out of this situation of anxiety and depression, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get out of it. So like, that's where like, there's a saying out there that says, make your mess your message. So like, I believe like one of my, God's will for me, I think, is really helping people really with their mindset and with the direction of their life and helping them in overall total success, right? But so like, I wasn't necessarily like that as a kid. You know, I was still a great guy, a great person, a great teenager, a great adult, but I didn't have this whole, I was a very, very hard worker. I've always been a very hard worker my whole life. Since 13, I haven't stopped. But as far as this Drew that you see today, yeah, I've been really building myself up the last few years, 3 years. So it'll be COVID, so it'll be 3 years now. So does that answer your question?
Oh, it does, man.
For sure.
And I want to stick around in this relationship.
Okay, let's do it.
This relationship topic a little bit longer. You know, if there's one thing I can tell about high-driven individuals that's common and consistent, is that they often struggle with their personal relationships.
Ooh, you hit the nail on the head.
So I'm sitting here as a victim or I'm guilty of that high-driven individual disease, whatever you want to call it. It's a problem. So what advice would you give to someone like me going into a new relationship? Oh, let me take a few steps back.
Love that question. I'm gonna grab my water here.
Take a few steps back. What, in your personal relationship, what was your takeaway from your most previous relationships, being a high-driven individual?
It's such a great question, man, because it's so fresh to me. And the short answer would be, I put achievements and I put fleshly success in front of God and in front of certain relationships. In a recent transition, breakdown, whatever you want to call it, with my dad passing away in December of 2022, work overload, a relationship ending, like boom, like God says, nope, you need to focus back on me because I got away from that. Like I have a really good foundation, faith foundation, but over the last couple of years, because I'm conditioned to be such an achiever, that, you know, I got away from this. So the answer to your question would be, put God first in everything that you do. If God tells you to get into that relationship, get into that relationship. If God tells you to get out of that relationship, get out of that relationship. Put God first, put your partner in special relationships after that, and then you put any fleshly type achievements behind those two. and you'll be set up for success, right? Because what I was operating on last year is achievements, and relationship, and God after that. And that might sound a little bit bad. I've really come a long way as far as being intentional with my relationships, because we only have 24 hours a day, right? So who are you spending your time with? What kind of depth do you have with the people that are important to your life? Like I'm over the surface level relationships. I'm very, very intentional with my time. I want to spend time with people that are going a certain direction, that are doing certain things in their life, and that we can build a bond and build a deep relationship going forward where we can help each other. And deposits and withdrawals, right? I'm just over the relationships that are consistent withdrawals and just kind of surface level type relationships. So very intentional with my time. So the answer to your question is put God first and put your most important relationships after that, whether that's a spouse, long-term partner, a new boyfriend or girlfriend that you're very attracted to or very connected to, is a better word to say. Yeah. And if you consistently do that, love is a decision. So I decide that I am going to make time for this person. I'm deciding that I want to spend as much time as I can with this person because they are more important to me than X, right? Or than an achievement, or than doing whatever it is. So that's being very intentional.
That's beautiful. So if I could just sum up everything you just said is, well, the first part is seek first the kingdom, and the rest will be added. And then secondly is don't squander your time, invest your time. That's great advice.
Be very intentional and deliberate.
That's awesome. Thank you.
We go in relationships 101 today, huh?
Hey, man.
Not claiming to be an expert by any means, but like I said, I've read a lot of relationship books, specifically Christian relationship books, and relationships are so important to our lives. And I'm just talking about an intimate partner relationship, but also like close friendships. Like we met for the first time 3 weeks ago, and very emotional. Like I was crying, like it was very emotional because we were talking about certain things, right?
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I know, but
like
that's very special, and it's very God-driven, because I needed that on that day. I needed that conversation. I needed that connection at that specific time, and God answered my prayers with that, with you and some other folks or some other people that I've met over the last couple of weeks, and that's very special to me. And like, so I'm very, very intentional and deliberate with my time and my relationships.
No, man, I praise God, and I appreciate, I feel honored to be in that circle. Seems like, well, I know your schedule. I have an idea what your schedule looks like. It's a very tight calendar. So to even just having you here, having like just us exchanging messages throughout the week, that makes me feel like it feels amazing to have people like that in your life. Absolutely. Intentional and very just the heart is felt in a very infinite way, like just the delivery. So I appreciate you just being a part of my life. And our first meeting 3 weeks ago, that was also my God revealing to me the destination, the road I'm to be traveling on, and what a destination is. And I see that you carry your destination with you. And your destination is God, obviously, and everything that you do. Sounds like that's what, from just knowing you the last few weeks, and you brought, out of every book that you read, you being a bookworm, you brought the Holy Bible. So you mentioned putting God first. I want to go back to that. How does putting God first in your everyday life looks like? And I guess, let's skip it there. What does that look like?
So putting God first, it would really be, He's the decision maker for my life. What's your will for my life? Where do you want me to be? What do you want me to do? Like, as you mentioned before, there's a few different things that I'm dabbling in. Like, God, what's your will for my life? Where do you want me to be? Where can I give the biggest impact, right? Because around the mental health spirituality space, relationship space, like I feel like I'm really in the zone. Like, is that God telling me, like, Drew, you need to go down that space more? Mm-hmm. So like continuing to lean into that, and like, this is, if you want general information, reading this on a daily basis, right? But if you want specific guidance, that becomes, get down to your knees and pray multiple times per day of saying, God, what's your will for my life? Should I end this relationship? Should I be in this relationship? Should I buy this house? Should I make this decision? Should I do X, Y, Z, right? And this like surrendering all to say, God, I trust you no matter what the outcome is, right? Whether I like it or not. Shout out to Michael Todd. Like Michael, I've been, you know Michael Todd?
I know Michael Todd.
Oh my gosh, man. So like since my dad passed, I didn't really, like I read one of Michael Todd's books, but I've been watching a sermon of his, maybe a couple a day for the last 75 days. And his enthusiasm resonates so much with me because you know me decently well at this point, especially seeing at the gym and that kind of thing. Like I love to bring a lot of enthusiasm.
Yes.
Michael Todd, man, like
let's go,
he's
Michael
bringing
Todd.
The heat. He's
go.
Bringing it. So like, so yeah, God is the gatekeeper. God is the decision maker for your life. What's your will for my life? Where can I make the biggest impact? What are my unique skills that you have given me? And help me understand that so I can serve my community.
Man, you are a realtor. Now, I know a lot of faith-filled realtors.
A lot of faith what?
Faith-filled,
okay.
Faith-based, religious, spiritual realtors, I should say. Faith-filled is another category that we have to evaluate before we put them in. Okay. And I feel like you're in that category where you're faith-filled. It's a question that, would you say your faith has a lot to do with how you go about handling your business? You mentioned it a bit in your definition, the previous question, but I want to hear from you and what that looks like. So would you say it sounds like you're hardwired, your faith is hardwired into your every decision, so it's easy for me to see that it does. But is that pretty obvious to your potential prospective clients per se?
Do they see that in me?
They see that in you?
I think they do. I think I'm 95% plus referral based. So most of the people that come to me to help them, they have a good idea of who I am. They're either close friends or friends or family that have referred someone to me. So they have a general idea of kind of the person that I am, and they know my intentions, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes, we don't articulate the wording the best in certain situations, but like I always tell people, what are your intentions? My intentions are to help my clients and help them have the best, most consistent experience that they can, and that they know that that I will always put them first. And when you start to do that and show people that, not tell, but tell and show, right? Because people will need to see it. And consistently do that year after year after year, like I've been able to build a business, and it's been amazing. So to answer your question though, most of my clients are referral based or friends, and they know the person that I am and know that I'll definitely give it my all to try to have or give them or provide them the best experience possible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Woo!
So I'm sitting here really struggling with how to navigate as a realtor and as a man of faith. And you knowing that I'm a creative creature by nature. And I really struggle with pushing out content. Is this content speaking towards me as a person? And is me as a person a man of faith filled? Is it me as a person a realtor? Or who is Gwadue? Is he, the fitness professional? Because I do also wear a lot of hats. So I just freeze, So I really, I watch your content, I watch your energy, I feel your energy, and it makes me want to get going too. But I'm like, dang, well, Drew just shared about freaking real estate. He made it sound so good. I can't say that without putting God first. You know, so like, how do I go about doing that, like on a day-to-day basis? What kind of advice do you have?
So I would, make it your own, and like, progress, not perfection. Like, we could pull, like, one of these days, like, pull up a video of me from 2018 doing a real estate video. I have like, I laugh, like, but I'm proud of myself for putting myself out there, right?
Yeah.
But I have no enthusiasm. I've done 100 takes on one video, right?
Yeah.
Because I tried to make it as best as I could. And then I've grown over the years to say, you know what, I'm gonna do a handful of takes. My hair's a little bit messed up, the lighting might be bad, but I'm gonna put that out there because I can help someone in the home buying process. I can help put a tip out there that maybe is gonna help someone have a really good day that's having a really bad day, right? And just putting it out there, because I get a lot of sometimes I hear realtors say, like, the videos are not for me, I don't think I can do it. I'm like, okay, well, like, is that a fear-based thought? Is that a limiting belief to say, I'm afraid of what people will say or what they'll think?
Yeah.
There's a stat out there that says basically 15 to 25% of people will not like you no matter what you do.
That's
so, like,
pretty factual.
And then doing what you're doing your unique spin, right? Because you wear a lot of different hats. So being your genuine self, putting out content that's gonna help people in whatever space it is, whether that be fitness, real estate, mental health, spirituality, whatever it is, getting it out there and just saying, my intent is to help someone in this space, and just put it out there.
Yeah.
And if someone doesn't like it, that's okay, because you're for who you're for, and I'm for who I'm for.
Yeah.
There's certain people that maybe don't like what I put out, and that's okay. But there's also people that come up to me and say, this really helped me, or this video really inspired me, or this and that. And like, that's the people that I'm supposed to be working with, right? So I think that's the long answer, but the short answer is just do it. Just go out there and do it. Progress, not perfection. Get it out there. And if you get some criticism, that's okay. That means you're moving in the right direction, right?
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Because if you want something you've never had, you need to do something you've never done.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite quotes. I love that quote.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes also from Naval Rafkin. He says, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. It's kind of like the reverse version of doing that. And then I forget, one of the doctors from Harvard also said, one of his quotes I took away was, you can't do normal things and expect abnormal results. So basically he said, what he's trying to say is that you have to put in the work to get the results that you're looking for. Sure. Compound interest yield compound results or returns. So I've taken so much away from just the 47 minutes that we've had.
It's flying by. It's been 47 minutes. Oh, man.
It's 47 minutes that we have.
What are we going to title this as? Is the relationship 101?
It has. This is. We're going to title this as this segment. I think has to be the intro to Drew's mind and what's to come. It's a long segment, but it's a long title. But no, it's. I think this is a great intro to just knowing how you think. You're I see you as a very patterned individual, routine, and I feel that we have. Like I was joking earlier when I said we're gonna have Drew Part 1, direction number 1. Drew Part 1, direction number 2. Mm-hmm. I feel, but now I'm seeing that joke was on me.
It's all good, man.
Because I feel like we're gonna have you here a lot, and I just hope that we're able to make the time. You're able to make the time, take the time out of your day to just fill us up with some of your wisdom. Because I personally feel that I have so much I can take away from you, going into being. This May will be my year 1 as a realtor, and I still have so much to learn, it feels like. And I also believe that you have so much I can take from, and I just feel blessed. Like, that I can call up on you, I can text you at any hour, and then I get a response just like that, and just having you here. So like this segment, is truly an intro for both me and our viewers.
No, I love
and
it, man.
I commend you for just being a beautiful human. I commend your spiritual, your journey, and I'm excited to travel with you. The next segment, we just barely broke through the ice.
I know, like we didn't, looking at your questions, like I don't know if we got my mom, the hero, and a couple of
we didn't get out of the early childhood.
We didn't.
So
we got into relationships, and there's one more thing I want to hit on before we end.
No, please. This is your direction. I'm just here to. I'm the conductor.
So no, we're running some time today. I love it. So you asked me what my favorite Bible verse.
Yes.
Kind of specific to my life. So it's James 1 verses 2 through 4. It basically says that I've been memorizing verses and I'm like drawing a blank, but take great joy in any trial, because I'm gonna read it. I thought I could do it, but
oh man, this is
consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Perseverance must finish its work so that you may mature and complete, not lacking anything. So that means walking through the storm with Jesus, with God, walking through it to say, what can I learn from this? What are you teaching me, right? Mm-hmm. And because I wanted to bring this up because we're talking about relationships and divorce and that kind of thing. But even like tough times in your life, walking through that storm and learning as much as you can and not band-aiding it with drugs, alcohol, porn, another relationship, etc., food, whatever it is, right? Walking through that storm to say, I'm going to get up every day, Lord, with you. I'm going to line up every day, put one foot in front of the other. And it might be a good day, it might be a really challenging day, but I'm going to keep putting one foot in front of the other and being open to what you're going to teach me. And when the timing is right, in your timing, you're going to show me, or maybe not, potentially not, you're going to show me, or I'm going to become a better version of myself because of this.
Dang.
Because I think it's so important that, when people go through storms, to say, I'm going to sit right here with this and with other important relationships in my life to learn from this. And I'm going to become such a better version of myself. I'm going to develop perseverance to become complete and mature. So I just wanted to end on that because that's one of my favorite verses. And again, I just started memorizing verses. I thought I would be able to say it without looking at the Bible, but that's okay.
No, that's beautiful, man. And the memorization thing comes with so much time.
I was ripping it out outside before you let me in. I was ripping it out, but like, it just,
the camera.
I drew a blank. I don't know.
It's the camera.
It's the camera. James 1, 2 through 4.
So I am in the discipleship program, as you're aware, and we go through these sections, and the first section, the first book is on security.
Okay.
It's arming me to be a disciple of God. I'm a disciple of Jesus in the society, and my goal is to build better men. Mm-hmm. And I'm given these verses, and I remember the first time I was given a verse, I came home, I was like, I haven't had to memorize a verse since I was 12 years old. Mm-hmm. And now, our minds are like computers. Everything else is important, but the one thing that should be important, that's the one thing that doesn't stick. Mm-hmm. So it took me literally, even right now, this it's a repetitive thing, right? And you have it down until you get in front of the person that you're supposed to say it in front of. So get in front of my mentor, I just freeze up.
Man. But just because you can memorize a verse doesn't mean, and you know this, right? Just because you can memorize verses doesn't mean you're, necessarily actively walking in faith or
and that's what I was
imitating Jesus, right? And
And that's what I was
your
kind of.
actions show you that.
Yeah, so I was gonna
Your
say
actions
that,
show
like, you know, it's when the verse becomes the living word in you.
You become that, right?
Yes. So for me, in order to memorize any verse or to have any verse that sticks nowadays, like, you know, I have to. It's normally how God works in my life is very interesting. The verses I memorize, I can't just say them to you. It's when we're speaking in terms, it's like we're speaking into something that directly correlates to that verse. And I'm able to just, I don't even know where that came from. So you're sitting here, you know, we're talking about, covering things up with drugs, alcohol, et cetera, and I'm just sitting here, I'm thinking of Ephesians 5:1, and you know, that being, do not get drunk on wine, because it leads to, do not get drunk on wine, because it leads to debauchery. Instead, be filled with the Holy Spirit. So like that verse, like it just directly just goes hand in hand with exactly what you're.
Right.
But no.
But that's super fresh to me, the James.
Yeah.
Because I had a tough January, but every day I lined up. Every day I got up and did my routine of devotionals and Bible reading and meditation and everything that I do, right? And I'm still getting up every day. Still getting up every day.
Oh, that's like that, and that's why I ask you, like, what does that look like? What does your faith look like every day in your life? It's your routine. I love that. And I feel like, you know, at a certain point, we like get a whiteboard up here and just.
Let's do it, man. Let's get crazy.
Yeah, man. Just show people what that looks like, what your mind looks like on a daily basis from start to finish. Not your entire day. How you start it, how you finish it.
Love it.
I think that's a beautiful way to just show people, like, just direction-wise, where we're going, how we start and where we're going. But I feel like it's safe to say, like, you know, you have a base, a power base, you have a heart of service, and then you have a destination, right? And that destination is God. And your service to people is literally your life. You're a living service. You are a realtor, you provide great service for people, you are a coach, you are a loving brother and son. You are helping more people than you realize. Right now, this is service. No one paid you to be here. I can't afford to pay you to be here.
I love this space, man. Like I said, I'm very thankful. Thank you for the kind words, and thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Man,
very
dude,
special.
Thank you so much. And you have an appointment to get to. We're gonna connect.
Yep.
I'm gonna send you everything that we've done here today, and I'd love for you to share the word. And yeah, man, looking to getting this going. It's the 26th of this month.
Awesome.
I'll get you all the content. And
Woo!
get shaking.
Dude, that was awesome, man. We had it flowing.